Hello, good afternoon. Now, I just want to say a big thank you to everyone who's been following me on social media. Now, over the next week, the children are off for half term. Yay! So, what are we going to do? That is the question. Well, for those of you that may or may not know a little bit about my history, I actually used to live on a narrowboat called MB Painted Lady, and both of my older children were actually conceived, sort of, and almost born on the canal network. The most fantastic gift that I was able to give my children is the fact that on their birth certificates it actually states NB Painted Lady, Coventry Canal Network, and where we were moored at the time. Part of me would have loved to have done that with my last child that I have, who's now 5, but if I had done that, there would have been a lot of questions asked by the Department of Work and Pensions, because at the time, obviously, I was living in a house. Yes, and there's 101 reasons as to why I didn't continue the narrowboat life. But we are now at the clincher where the owner of the boat, sadly, is looking at selling her. And I myself am absolutely pissed off with living in rented accommodation. The only good thing about living in the house that I am renting is that it is 5 minutes away from George Eliot Hospital. In a taxi. Providing there isn't loads and loads of roadworks on the A444, the A5, and Heath End Road, where I am currently residing, yes. So despite, shame on you, Nuneaton Bedworth Borough Council deciding to put in the new bridge to help with congestion in Nuneaton, half the people still don't know that it's open, so maybe they do after watching my video. So over the next week, because it is going to be half term, October for the boys, I'm going back. I am going to go back to MB Painted Lady. Now, I'm probably not going to be there all week, not because I don't want to, but it would be an unrealistic expectation for me to do that. 1, because of my health problems, and 2, obviously, because of the children. Now, at the moment, MB Painted Lady is in a marina. We were very lucky at the time, or unlucky at the time. We got a mooring during COVID. And one of the reasons we chose to do that, or the owner of the boat, should I say, chose to do that, is because of family reasons. Unfortunately, old age gets to everybody, and the owner of the boat, sadly, his dad, took ill with cancer. Now, at the time, we didn't know that's what was wrong, and as much as he loved living on the boat, we all loved living on the boat as a family of 2, and then a family of 3, and then a family of 4, and then on occasions, a family of 5. Because despite me obviously not living with the father of my children, I have never prevented him from spending time with his children. And if they had the choice to either be in a house or on the boat, they would say the boat. But then when you say, well, actually, if you're on the boat, you got to be in nature and there's no internet access, they'll go in the house. Because all my 3 children, unfortunately, are what you would call modern children, despite the fact that we've tried to give them the outdoor life, the nomadic experience. The moment they learned about modern technology, thank you, schools, for putting a mobile phone into my child's hand during lockdown. Up until then, we were doing really, really well, living on the boat, not having internet access, not having mobile phones, not having a television. Saying that, we did let them watch at Christmas, because we did have a TV when we were moored, because I had a license for the house. and it was a video. So again, it's one of those things, when do you need a license, when do you not need a license? If you live on an airboat, if you live in a caravan, if you live in a tent, if you live in a mobile home, do you need a license to have internet? You know, it's still one of those things that a lot of people don't really know the rules. So please, if in doubt, find out. Do not end up with £1,000 fine. And good luck with finding somebody, though, when they live on a boat and they don't have a fixed address. But, you know, a lot of boaters are under the conception that they don't need a license to have a TV. Well, that may or may not be the case. I don't know, as I've not lived on a boat for over 8 years, so full time. So I will be going back. I will be going back to NB Painted Lady over the next 5 to 7 days. I may only be there for an hour. I may be there for several hours. I don't know. And I would like the opportunity for people to follow me on this journey. So for those of you who are thinking of embarking on a nomadic lifestyle or experience, I want you to know what it's really, really like living on a boat, okay? I don't want you going in with rose-tinted glasses and thinking, oh my God, this is going to be the most amazing, most earth-shattering experience of my life. I am going to change my world. I'm going to change everything I do. Believe me, it is a fantastic lifestyle. But a lot has changed in the last 10 years. A lot of rules and regulations have changed with Canal and River Trust. Don't even ask me to explain them to you. Even I don't understand half of them. Sadly, a lot of the places where I used to moor along the canal network no longer exist, or they have been re-landscaped, or the mooring hours and the limitations of how long you can moor have changed. But one of the good things about the marina that we're currently residing in with the boat is that if anyone was interested in purchasing NB Painted Lady, then there is room for negotiation to have a residential mooring. Now, I need to be careful with saying that on social media, because residential moorings are few and far between. There are not enough residential moorings on the canal network for people that live on the canal. Now, I loved being a boat without a home mooring, but then when you're in labour with your first child and you're having to sit on public transport for over 2.5 hours to get to the hospital, or your waters break at 2 a.m. in the morning and the only way you can get to the hospital that you want to give birth at is by being in a taxi and having them tank down the A444 at 11:30 at night so you can, not end up literally having the baby on the boat, which may have potentially could have happened with my second, but definitely not with my first or my third. Pardon me, due to complications. And plus it's a lot of bloody mess to have to clean up after. So yeah, probably not a good idea. Then please feel free to follow me. Please feel free to ask any questions. If you want to know more about, obviously, the boat itself, or arrange a viewing, or which I can do online, I can do a virtual viewing for you, or in person. That is an option, but they must be pre-booked. And like I said, I'd like this opportunity for you to go back with me to NB Painted Lady. I'm going to try and share some of the before, during and after photographs of what the boat was like when we brought her, what the boat was like when we lived on her, what the boat looks like now, and what she will look like in about a week's time. And then obviously, potentially, what are we prepared to sell her for, and what she may potentially or realistically be able to be sold for. So again, it's not just the opportunity to learn about buying a boat, but it's also to kind of find out, like even if you buy a boat, just like buying a house or buying a car, is that the amount you necessarily pay for that item in the first place, sadly, with a boat, will not go up in value. It will depreciate. So even a house, you know, even if there's no roof and it's falling off, it's every door and wall are falling off, because of the land value, I suspect, and because of the market and everybody wanting bricks and mortar, houses always seem to go up in value. But sadly, mobile homes, vehicles, unless it's a classic car, for example, narrow boats, again, unless it's like a proper industrial workboat with a really good hull, they do not tend to hold their value, or their value may or may not decrease. And again, because of the expectations of what people expect a boat to look like or expect a boat to have, again, it will fluctuate as to how much you may or may not get for the boat, or potentially on how much you may or may not have to pay for one. So please feel free to follow me and enjoy your weekend. And if you're not in school with your loved ones or children, have a nice October break. But please, if you can and you are happy to do so, follow me as I go back to MB Painted Lady. Thank you.